Welcome to the feed, hosted by Allegiant Calls, where it's all about the sound. Sponsored by Dakota Decoys, Migrant Ammunition, Bush Rats, and Gator Waders. Confidence in every step. Welcome to the feed, guys, brought to you by Allegiant Calls. This is going to be our first episode for everybody new here. We're new here too. I'm Kendall. I'll be your host for this ride, this show, whatever you want to call it. All the way at the end of the table for everybody watching YouTube is going to be Andy.
What's going on, guys?
And my center man right here is going to be Stacy. He is the CEO, CFO, the anything you need to know at Allegiant Calls, he's going to be your go-to. So to start off, we're going to give y'all a little overview of kind of who we are, how we got into duck hunting, and where Allegiant Calls comes from. We might even give you a little snippet into how our opening weekend was and kind of what we saw, what we killed. That way y'all can give us some comments on YouTube and Spotify and let us know how y'all's weekend went, how the Allegiant Calls that you're using broke those birds that probably shouldn't have been broke. So, start with, I'm Kendall. Like I said, I'm your host. When you start duck hunting, we all live in central Alabama. Everybody's sitting here where duck hunting's probably not high on the list of things that most people do. Stacy, you start out duck hunting as a kid?
No.
Andy, did you duck hunt as a kid?
I started at 17.
Yeah. So Andy was 17. How old were you, Stacy, when you first duck hunt that you went on?
Well, yeah, I was younger than that. I don't know exactly, but I was gotten a little older.
Okay, so Stacy probably the youngest one. I was in my 20s, probably not, maybe 20, 21, out of college, because in college I didn't have enough money to duck hunt. There's plenty of deer in central Alabama to shoot, so we chased those. So we all started a little later. We didn't grow up like some of y'all boys in the timber in Arkansas, like 5 years old, like riding on our dad's back end or nothing like that. So it's all new to us. I say new, but we didn't grow up doing it with our dad. Our dads taught us how to turkey hunt and deer hunt and fish. They didn't teach us how to duck hunt. So a little different than some of you guys probably. But like I said, I was out of college, so 20, 21, 22. Had some buddies that you hear about, that guy, he duck hunts. And he was like, okay, that's cool. He shoots some ducks, that's fine. Give me my bow. I'm gonna go chase deer, right? Because that's what we can do, And then you start seeing the deer that's killed in Illinois and Michigan and Kentucky, and you're like, well, Maplesville, Alabama doesn't have, 140, 150, 160 inch deer everywhere. So I kind of backed off of that a little bit, and I worked for it was Stacy's baseball coach. He was my baseball coach, and he was a principal, and I taught ag for him, Coach Blair. And he calls me one day from the ag shop, and he's like, hey, you want to duck hunt? And I was like, well, I guess so. What do you mean? We're going to shoot 2 wood ducks down here? And he was like, I got a lease in Mississippi, and we've got an opening. I was like, okay, yeah. How much does it cost? And at the time, it probably seemed like a lot. Now that I've been duck hunting for, quite a few years, it was not that much money. Looking back at how much money I've spent. So I went over there with him, and for those of you guys that have ever hunted Mississippi, you'll know we had some catfish ponds. And they have lots of spoons, and they have lots of bluebills. Well, I didn't know the difference between a bluebill or a bootlip or a mallard or anything else. A duck is a bird that sits on the water, I did have a buddy show me what a grebe was just to make sure that wasn't on the list of things to shoot. Hey, don't shoot this. We went over there, and man, for a year or two, we shot bluebills and bootlips. I don't know how many. Did either one of y'all go to that stage where you just shot ducks? You didn't care as long as you made the limit. You didn't care what it was.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think I've always kind of cared, so I don't know. I don't know if I can help you on that one.
So Stacy probably skipped that stage, but hey, we're shooting ducks. We don't care how we shoot them. We're standing by paddle wheels. No decoys, just shooting them past shoot, just having fun. And then 2 or 3 years in, I say hey, man, we can call a couple of these ducks. Hey, some of these ducks, I can't really blow a call, but even some of them are dumb enough to even answer me and come back, and that's a lot more fun to work them and kind of watch them. So just try to start doing that. And of course, where we were, there wasn't a lot of mallards. A couple gadwall here and there, just not a big deal. So, but we did have speckled bellies.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of really, that was probably the speckled belly hunt was probably what got me off into really working birds and setting up spreads and getting them in.
Yeah, I really don't know if that's not your favorite thing to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I heard speck one time this weekend, I heard it 50 million times over 2 days. So it didn't take me long to realize that Kendall is very passionate about a speckled-bellied goose. So.
They're my favorite, probably because it was the first bird that I actually kind of learned to set up spreads for and call in.
Yeah.
So yeah, speckled belly. I get as excited about when specks break and work as what Stacy does when a greenhead breaks and works. That's I like to see a greenhead as much as the next guy, but man, when you can get those giggle chickens to do it right, man, they just glide in, and then they're fun. So that's a little overview of kind of how I got into duck hunting. Andy, you want to give us your backstory?
Yeah, so I started duck hunting, I guess, 16 years ago, 15, 16 years ago.
Telling ages, I'm not doing that.
No, we won't get into years, Stacy.
And I really started duck hunting. I'm kind of like Kendall. Grew up chasing turkeys, deer hunting. Didn't care anything about the ducks. Never did it. Nobody in the family did it. Granddad passed away. When he passed away, deer hunting wasn't the same. Turkey hunting wasn't the same. It just, my man wasn't with me. Wasn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some buddies that were duck hunting. They were like, man, you need to go with us. And I was like, well, I'll try it. Let's go. And we went. Little bitty catfish pond. Shot some wood ducks. Shot some ringnecks. That was a wrap.
Look at you now.
That was it for me.
Look at you now.
Boy, that cost you a lot of money, didn't it? You probably need to go back to those guys, but hey, why'd y'all do that?
It depends if my wife's listening, but no, it ain't been that bad.
Yeah, we got to quit talking about age and money.
Yeah, okay.
You seem to be coming up a lot here.
Yeah.
All right, and Stacy, first, tell us your story.
Yeah, just keeping this short and simple. A lot of people probably have heard some of my story in the past, but started at a young age, and my dad didn't duck hunt. He's a very passionate turkey hunter, and I grew up turkey hunting for the most part, and deer hunting. My first deer I shot at a young age with a bow. That was the first deer I ever killed.
You killed your first? Hang on.
Yeah, with Coach Blair. Yeah.
So you killed your first deer with a bow?
With a bow. I think I was 10 or 11. I can't remember.
So you skipped the whole. My dad made me use a shotgun until I killed one. You skipped that. You skipped getting the 243.
Yep.
And killing one. You went straight to a bow.
Straight with a bow. Yep. And shot several deer after that. After I killed my first one. So grew up kind of just bow hunting deer and turkey hunting. I like to get them in close and just learned a lot from my dad as far as just being a good woodsman and the passion that he shares calling in birds and what really challenges him and so actually was watching TV one day, and I think it was Buckshot Lodge over in Arkansas. I was a young guy, and my parents didn't have a whole lot at the time, and so duck hunting was kind of out of the question for me. Like I wasn't gonna be able to go on a guided hunt or anything like that, and I was always watch those shows and be like, man, that would probably be pretty fun to experience something like that. And my cousin Jeff Giles had gotten into duck hunting. Just in Alabama, and believe it or not, years and years and years ago, we're not going to say how many years, used to kill ducks in Alabama. Not like what we harvest now, but it was a lot more interesting. I'll just leave it at that. And so he had mentioned, hey, do you want to go duck hunting? And Jeff is older than me, and I said, man, yes, absolutely. I said, I've been watching on TV and I'd love to go. And long story short, it was a rainy day and he took me down to Mulberry Creek just to jump shoot some wood ducks, just because that was all we had to do. I mean, and that was the first, not really hunt, but it was kind of an experience. You really don't have a whole lot of places to go here, and so that's what we did. And my first wood duck I shot on Mulberry Creek was a banded female wood duck from Bellevue, Iowa. And didn't know. I thought I'd shot something illegal. Didn't even know.
So I'm going to stop your story again right there. Your first deer is with a bow.
Yeah.
All right, that's something that your first duck is banded.
Yep. Female wood duck.
Andy, I'm starting to see my bad luck needs to rub off a little bit on Stacy.
No, you can keep that mojo there. So that's kind of how it started, and there's a lot of details into that hunt, and even though it was jump shooting wood ducks I was on family ground, and stuff. It was still fun. It got that opportunity for me to kind of get one under my belt, but I think what kind of made me hungry for it was I got to shoot and harvest a female wood duck that was banded as my first duck, and my cousin Jeff he was so excited for me, and I didn't fully understand what I had done, and so once I kind of learned what had happened over the next few days, I was like, I want to go back, and we went down in the bottom, and this was for everything that goes on down there now, and we went down there, called in a pair of mallards, a male and female, and I shot and missed the greenhead because that's the one I wanted. And the gun jammed up. I was shooting my dad's 1100, and Jeff killed it. And from then on, to watch him call those in, and from that point on, it was okay. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna learn how to do this. He helped me. He took me on hunts. He let me tag along. He taught me what he knew, and he threw me a duck call. He said, if you're going to be good at this, you got to learn to run a duck call. And that's where it all started right there. Him handing me a duck call in the truck on the way back from a hunt and said, you need to learn how to use this. And I did. And so that's where it kind of started.
All right, so we're going to go back to that duck call in the truck. So looking back now, is that the moment that Allegiant probably started? Or was it something later on down the road that flipped a different switch that went from it's just something to go hunting to it's going to be something more?
Yeah, there was definitely, I guess at a young age, you just want to be part of something, and back then, duck hunting and duck calling was different than it is today, in my opinion. And so back then, just still learning to operate a call, it really, to where I am now, never crossed my mind at that point. As I got into more of being able to go out to Arkansas and things like that, those ambitions and those goals and those dreams that you may have kind of start, coming up. You think about them and you say, I wish I had, or I wish I could do this. And now, just constantly working toward that and just working so hard. It's all has started to come together, but the start of Allegiant Calls, I would say, happened after Butch passed, is when Jeremy Romaine in Kansas, it was, I don't know, I really don't know the year. It was a few years after he had passed. I had quit duck calling, contest calling. He was really the mentor for me. He really invested a lot of time in me, and I really took it hard. I didn't feel like I had anyone else that would really help me the way he did. And so I just quit, and Jeremy Romaine called me. He says, man, you need to get back to duck calling. And he said, you're too good just to stop. He said, I know you enjoy it. And he said, I miss seeing you, at these contests. And that's the other thing too, just the friends that I've made, the network that I have made and built by traveling for, 15 years? No. Yeah, more than that. We're not going to say.
Over 15.
So yeah, okay. over. Yeah. Let's see. Hold on, I can do the math real quick. Well, never mind. It's a long time. Okay.
That number got a lot bigger.
Let's see. So I think it was 07 is my first contest year. So that's where I met Jeremy Romaine, one of my best friends who helped me. I mean, he has not ever failed. If I send him a routine, and it's from then to now, over all those years, constantly making me better. I'm helping him now. In the beginning, I could never help him. He was so far ahead of me. And but anyway, he said, hey, you need to get back in this.
So what part, so the contest calling was kind of like you said, that was, you enjoyed it, Butch passes away, things change a little bit, and you go, you know what, I'm going to get back into it. What swapped it from just being really good at blowing a duck call to wanting to make what you're blowing? Because that's a big, a lot of guys are really good at running calls, but they don't make them, because that seems to be a different mindset.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna, definitely will never name drop in here, but some things that particular company that I asked for help after Butch passed and couldn't get any help, and I got tired of like just ordering or calling and calling people that I knew that made products, and it just wasn't where I wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always fixing it, manipulating it, trying to get it to where I would like it.
Okay, so for everybody listening, I'll stop right here. Me and Stacy are polar opposites when it comes to a product or what. I like things, let's get it to work. As long as it works. Kendall is gold with.
Let's just get her by.
It's going to get by. That'll kill ducks. Yeah. I'm good with it. Stacy isn't happy until it's overly perfect. Like, it can be perfect and he's going to go, you know what, though?
Yeah.
I could probably make that a little better.
And that's true, but that's a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, because I can't tell you how many duck calls I've messed up that I should have just left alone. And so...
for everybody don't know, my dad's name is Tony. You do the Tony Burnett. My dad works for me now. We do landscaping and some stuff. And we can have some great, I'm talking about really fine, no water problems. He's going to try to make it a little bit better, and he ends up screwing it up, trying to get it that last touch better. But when you're buying a product, I want the guy to... You care more about the call than I do as buying it. It means more to you than it does to me.
Yeah, but to that point, though, sometimes you do make it better. And when I do make it better and I send it to someone and they say, hey, this is it. Like, what did you do? And I get a kick out of that. And so that's kind of, to go back, that's kind of when it all started. Just, I knew that I could build a product. I had kind of expanded my knowledge on duck calls. That's definitely where the passion for the hunt was for me. It wasn't, and it's never been the shooting. I mean, just this past weekend, I was watching everybody else shoot. I wanted to call the ducks and run my dog, and that's the favorite part for me. And so, that's definitely where it's at for me. That's where it kind of started. From that point, I turned my first duck call in a horse barn on a lathe that Jeff has in his shop down there in his horse barn. He had a lathe down there, and I started turning, and he had a drill press, and it just started, and I didn't have a jig, so I was just turning barrels and things like that. I would turn tenons down just to see if I could. That's kind of where it all started, right there.
So, Allegiant started from, like most companies, from out of necessity. There was something that you wanted that wasn't, in your mind, on the market.
Well, yeah. I could look at those products, run those products, and think I could get a little more out of it, and I was getting a little more out of it. Like, standing here doing this and kind of studying. I mean, I was giving calls away that if guys had right now, they would sell them for a lot of money. I mean, I was selling those calls because they wasn't just right for me. Yeah. And so, or I was giving them away. I gave, I don't know how many daisy cutters away. They kept sticking at that time, but man, when they didn't, they were awesome.
there's a full scroll daisy cutter somewhere out there that Stacy owned at one time.
Oh yeah, when he listens to this podcast, we already talked. He contacted me a couple years ago. I hadn't seen the kid in a long time. Now he's a grown man, and he offered to swap me a new call, one of my calls for that call. And if you're listening, we need to have that conversation again. But I've given those away, and I gave that to him. He helped me move furniture. Really? Yeah. I've given a lot of calls away, but to go back, that's I knew I could get more out of it. Then I was, not to say I wasn't happy with the products that were out there, because I was. But I think it was just the perfection. Like, can I perfect this a little more? And then it has just blossomed after that. I was turning some barrels and turning tenons. And then I took a break from that, and I would just make a call for my hunting buddies here and there. And heck, some of them can't even run a call for real. But just making it for them, and I kind of had more time then, and I was turning more, and so did that, and that's kind of where it started. And then I made a call. I have it down there in the shop now. I think Andy's heard it.
Yeah. I have.
And that was my first one that I had a jig off of, and it's a very interesting call that is really close. It's not quite right, but it's just a little different. And then when I made that and I used it a little bit, I'm like, man, I can make this better. And it's always that. How can I make this better? And so I made another call. Then I met a guy named Kerry Sadler who helped me a ton. He was turning calls and got out of it, and he contacted me and heard that I may be interested in some of the things that he had, and he was willing to help me learn more about some things that I had questions about that I had no help in learning. Nobody was helping me. And when he took that interest in the making side of helping me, I could text him, call him, ask questions, and he helped me a lot. And then it was like it just took off. Like I knew I got to do this for real. And so now we sell a lot of calls, and we're a growing company, and just about everything that we do is CNC. I have done some custom stuff, but the time I have now into making a call, it would take me a lot longer than it used to, and so that's kind of where we are. That's just basics of how it kind of got rolling.
That was kind of what everybody. I'm sure me and Andy probably have heard bits and pieces of that story, but a lot of people listening probably they may have bought some Allegiant stuff, some Allegiant calls, but they know Stacy the Face on Instagram, but maybe they didn't know.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I think that I have an old soul. I am, I think for the way that the company has kind of developed, the history behind it, the network, everything that goes with Allegiant Calls, there's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of history. If you look at the people that has helped me along the way, I am very, very fortunate to have known them, to have them help me, to have them teach me, not only just calling, but about calls. There are so many variables in a duck call, and that is a whole podcast in itself.
Yeah.
But there's some of that stuff that you could sit here, me and you talk about, and you just wouldn't understand. And then there's a lot of that stuff when I was coming up with it, it was secretive. No one wanted to share that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just out there everywhere. And so, but there are still some things that unless you're doing it, you just won't know and you won't understand.
Well, that's kind of with all of it. Like for everybody that don't know, Stacy and myself hunt together, and we set some decoys up Sunday morning, and I did not fully understand. Like you walked up and you're like, oh, this is gonna be about the most simple decoy setup we're gonna have all year. And my mind was just going, I didn't think there was enough water on one side of where we were hunting. I was like, man, we're gonna have to try to the wind in my mind wasn't right. I was like, man, we're gonna have to try to wrap these ducks around this corner of this pit, and we're gonna have to try to pull them all the way across. And you just set it up, and I was in my mind, you've killed a lot more ducks than I have, but I was like, I don't know, like it's gonna work, but
I think you asked me. You said, is there enough water over there to kill them? I said, oh yeah, it's perfect.
But in my mind, I was like, I'm not understanding how this is going to work. By the end, I understood what your idea was with what we were doing and why you done it. But if you don't have somebody like those guys to show you the calling aspect, I'm just relating it back to hunting because a lot of these people probably don't make calls, but they hunt, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. I would have never understood. You could have told me 100 times if I called you at 5 o'clock in the morning and said, Stacey, this is what I got going on. You could have said, hey, set them up like this. I wouldn't have understood. But seeing it and being there, seeing the way the ducks reacted, you explaining it makes sense. So I guess that's probably the same concept.
Yeah, and it goes along with I've had to learn all that hard and off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've hunted with some people that knew, and I've hunted with people that didn't. You know, and it's just kind of like trial and error, and it took a long time to figure those things out. And to a lot of people, they're just figuring it out on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes that you don't, when the weather conditions are right, you don't need to overthink it. Right? You just see what the birds are doing, and then adjust. Don't overthink.
Because group number 2 didn't quite suck by like I thought, and I immediately called. I was like, "Hey, you want me to move these?" And you're like, "No, wait till the sun comes up. Let these ducks work. I think we're going to be fine when the sun comes up."
Yeah.
That's probably I've always figured it out on the fly because that was just the way we had to do it. Well, I'm immediately like, we've got to figure something out. This isn't right.
Yeah, no.
You know, so it's...
And in your conditions, but that, we can get into all that.
Yeah, but
I think...
So let's talk about, guys, we're going to give you just a few minutes of kind of our opening weekend. Let's go to Andy and see.
To say, Andy helps me out a lot.
Uh-huh.
And, with Allegiant Calls, we started a leather side. It's really me and Andy throwing around ideas. I had a big order. He came down to the shop and helped, and us just throwing around ideas. And so I'll let him talk about that and what we got on the leather side, what we got coming in the future, hopefully, and just stuff like that. So
yeah, so we got a few leather things out now. We got some duck totes, single duck totes, double drop duck totes. By the way, they work really good.
Yeah, they do.
we hung quite a few
keep a
feet.
watch on.
Well, hold on now. Let me back up on that. I got the first one ever made with my name on it, and those crimps are just a hair tight, but they're gonna loosen up.
Oh yeah, they'll loosen up real good.
So everybody keep a watch on. There may be a few pictures you can see how the duck totes work coming through some.
And we got some more stuff coming. I'm not gonna release it all. Y'all see it pretty soon.
Yeah.
So we do a little bit of that. Got some other big things coming that I'm helping with. Helping with the podcast, big orders, lots of shows. Whatever needs done, some cabinets at the camp.
For everybody on YouTube, what you're seeing on the camera, this is Andy's brainchild also. If you need something built and need it to look cool, Andy will make it look cool.
Yeah.
Have you posted a picture of our sign in our mudroom?
No, we're gonna wait
until it's all
we need to finish that out.
Yeah, we'll do a.
We'll keep people coming to Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, and everything else to see this.
We'll do our own
reveal.
Yeah, we'll do our own.
Our crib.
Not MC. Yeah, our cribs. I can't drop the. Yeah, we'll do our own cribs.
The Allegiant Calls cribs.
Yeah, we'll do that. But no, but Andy, if you come to our shows, we're doing a lot more shows. Andy has had the opportunity to help us, and when time allows, and there's a lot of guys that's helped me in the past, and it's just you can't do this without support. I realized that quick, but also having someone that has the ability to talk to customers, you trust what they're saying, and you know what they're saying is accurate. Talking to them about the products, the differences in the products, what's his favorite product, because we can't sit here and say that we're not using them, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Being able to tell why that's his favorite, just stuff like that we really needed. He stepped in, has done a phenomenal job. There was an order this year that was a very large order we had that we worked really hard to get, and anyway, I could not have done that and got that out the door without him. And so just having somebody like that as an asset to Allegiant Calls, and just having the support, and what's crazy is doing this is that I've had people, and including yourself, say, and other friends come in and say, hey, we just want to help you. How can we help? And man, I'm telling you, that's like a breath of fresh air. You just don't even know. And, it's just not, you can't go to where we are without help. And we're already looking at next year and how it's the company's just really it's just snowballing and taking care of itself, but it's because of the support and the support group that I have around me. You know, it's a team effort. It's not a one man show.
So I'll speak, and Andy can attest to this. You know, from outside looking in, you've watched this from the start. You know, we've all kind of watched you get it to where it's at. But for a lot of us, you know, we work different jobs. We make livings in other ways, but this is a way for us to be a part of something we enjoy. Because if you don't enjoy duck hunting, you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's miserable sometimes.
Yeah.
But you do it for a show. But it's also a part to see, you know, somebody that we enjoy get to see what you've worked for go to the next level. I mean, that's probably with Andy.
You got to, you know, I'll help anybody out that is pushing themselves and wanting to go to that next level. And if there's anything that I can do to help you get there, oh, you got it.
Yeah, so I mean, and just hearing that, you know, but nonetheless, you know, when you just, like, you could stay doing the things I was doing by myself, but to see the company grow, you got to have support. So we've been fortunate to circle or have a circle of friends that we consider a team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just phenomenal. I mean, phenomenal callers, hunters, and you know, and just good people. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that couldn't say that, and I'm just blessed that we can. So hey, we're throwing coal to this train, baby. I mean, we're just now. I mean, in my mind, in my opinion, Allegiant Calls right now is throwing coal to that train. I'm telling you right now, the tracks are heating up. The train's picking up momentum, and it's going to take a long time to stop it. Just from this point, I mean, just to be honest with you. So we have customers all across the U.S., also in New Zealand. Just from the first weekend of Arkansas and northern states, and get messages from there. People sending us pictures and stuff. It's just awesome to see the messages that we get. It's that right there. I can be sitting in a duck blind calling ducks in Arkansas with my product, and someone's in Illinois calling them too and killing them. You know, and it's like, holy crap, this thing just works everywhere. You know, the same product that I'm using. And so, I don't know, you know, to hear people, something that I made, that I've devoted so much time to, using it, liking it, telling me they like it, it's just, you know, it's a very good, it's a rewarding feeling, you know, and it's hard to explain.
It makes all the blood, sweat, and tears worth it.
It does, man. The long nights, I can't tell you, you know, and both of y'all know. How many times you call me and say, what are you doing? Tuning duck calls.
Yeah.
You know, got in at, you know, didn't get in from the shop till 2 a.m., you know, and you're back up at daylight. Just trying to get orders out that you told people, hey, I'll get this done, you know, and it has been a learning curve for me. Especially from the beginning, running Shopify, shipping orders and things like that. Both of you know when it comes down to computers, I'm going to say here.
If you're putting me in charge of computer work over you, you're in trouble.
Trust me. So I really get aggravated with it. I can do a lot of things, and I know a lot of things on the computer. I'm not so old that I don't know these things, but I'm just saying, like, I get so aggravated with it. If I'm gonna have a short temper with something, it's technology. Yeah. You know, and so I say here, and so, you know, learning those things in the beginning was a big learning curve. But once I got the system, because you know I'm OCD about having things perfect.
That's an understatement.
And so. and so anyway, once I got the system the way I needed it to flow, you know, I was able to set goals for myself in year 1. I set goals in year 2. We met those goals. Year 3, here we are. We've met that goal already, and you know, we still got some time left. And so, if I didn't have those systems and learn those things, you know, have it set up the right way, having support, just learning trade shows. You know, from where to be, what shows to go to, what do we need, what
how
products.
to set the booth up the right way.
Yeah, you know, we have a product right now for every duck hunter. from cut downs to J frames.
Yeah.
What do we need when we travel to this area? What are we selling most of?
Yeah.
What does our inventory need to look like? And you're really getting to the details when you do that. What colors of acrylic do we need? Because man, I'm gonna tell you what, down in Louisiana, them boys they want all the colors, and so some of them.
I assume there's some purple. Did they want like purple and gold duck call? Was that?
I can't remember my guy's name, but I'm gonna tell you what, this is a good dude. He supports us on social media. I'm gonna have to hit his name back up when we do this next podcast. But if he's listening, I'm talking about you, pink and green. He'll know.
Pink and green.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna tell you what, it didn't look that bad. It wasn't my cup of tea. Let me tell you, he had it. He had to have the lanyard, pink and green, everything. And let me tell you, he's been rocking it out and killing birds. So I have to remember his name. And it's not because I'm just very forgetful with names. I will never forget a face, but names, I'm just not your guy.
And you can get like some pink and green like duck totes. Can you get like pink leather?
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you what, Andy, there ain't nothing Andy can't do. It's just he'll say, now let me check on that. Let me check on that.
We'll get back with you.
We'll get back with you on that.
Yeah, but about a couple days later, you're gonna get the text or the phone call goes, "Hey, I've got this figured out, but this is what we're gonna need."
Yeah.
Oh, I can do that part. I can get you what you need. You just don't worry about that, buddy. Yeah.
So, and but I think you were going to talk about opening weekend.
Yeah, we'll touch off with a little bit of opening weekend. We'll wrap this thing up. I'll let Andy tell a little bit about. We didn't hunt together. Andy
so me and Kendall hunted together, and Andy, he had a wild ride on what they did. I'm definitely not going to tell my age, but I'm definitely too old to do that right now. But anyway, I'll let him go in detail on that, and we'll talk about the farm.
So I hunted with a bunch of good friends of mine, some new friends of mine that we met this weekend. We hunted some public land and undisclosed locations in Arkansas, and we had a good weekend. We had little bit of sleeping on the front deck of the boat under the stars, which a lot of people don't think is too peaceful, but I think I get better sleep on the front deck of that boat.
No doubt.
I do enjoy having that nice bed and the TV though, so I'm gonna let you stay right there, Andy.
Yeah, so we had fun. It can get a little rough as the season progresses, but everybody was ready to get rolling and rocking, and we linked up with some guys. I think some of them were from Arkansas, some of them were from Georgia, and put a solid day down.
Yeah.
So
I think the woods for opener was probably as good as they've been in a lot of years.
Yeah, it's I personally haven't hunted them woods in where we were at for very long, but some of the people that I was hunting with, they've been around there for a while.
Yeah, we had customers even north of y'all, and maybe some in between where we were and y'all were, but all of them had success in the woods, and the weather was perfect for it.
Oh, it was.
You
right.
You really couldn't ask for better weather to hunt the woods.
It's the first time y'all have had good water. You may have had a little water. It's the first time y'all could hunt most of your woods wherever you wanted to go.
High
in
water,
years.
sunny skies, leaves on the trees.
Yeah, and you had a cold front
better.
before that. I mean, it was just a good recipe for it. And man, I'm gonna tell you what, seeing the video and stuff, seeing some of my friends have fun, and you and all those guys, man, it's one of them things. Dang, I wish I was there with them.
I picked up a smaller role here with a video camera, and I'm a non-professional videographer.
He just likes it.
And I like it. So I run the camera a little bit, and it was a good time.
And I could tell, and the way I could tell is some of the guys that I know smiling from ear to ear. I love seeing them have success and the fun that they had. Makes you want to be right there with them. So anyway, and Andy the whole time sending us videos at night while we're at the camp and pictures and calling us, and I'm sitting there wide open working, But But yeah, seeing that, I was so glad y'all had a good hunt,
Oh, yeah,
good time, and glad everybody was safe and everything worked out. 'Cause you already know how that is, and
Oh, yeah.
I've done that, not had a ton of success like that. Just hadn't been with the right guys, but it's definitely something I've had fun doing. But you have to be careful doing it. So, man, seeing all that, it brought back some memories for sure. So
Yeah, I've years ago, and I'm not as old as Stacy is, but
come on now,
I'm,
you're right there, buddy.
I'm pretty close.
Yeah, you
We've
are.
done that. We're not near as successful as what Andy and them were. They've got it figured out, and the woods is one of those things that Andy will attest. When it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad.
I think though, and Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, but you really got to have a big team of people to do that know different areas of the woods, and you kind of accumulate all that information together, and then you work together to work the woods and what wood's good. When you get those woods narrowed down, what holes, and you have to work together. Go here, go there, see what's what.
It definitely helps to have a group of, I'm gonna call them big dogs, that you can bounce info back and forth with, not dropping holes or nothing like that, but hey, let's split up, let's do this. Hey, these woods are hot right now. These woods are holding ducks. This block's holding ducks, and kind of go from that. And then all the years of experience just between those guys and the calling, and I mean it was.
Yeah, it all goes together.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing though is what Dad taught me years ago turkey hunting is being a good woodsman.
Yep.
And knowing where to go at the time of year and stuff like that. So those are the most important things. But to do that on public ground successfully, over and over, I think you have to have a big team and a good team that you can trust. So
it's 100% work. You didn't buy a single duck.
no, yes,
You are not buying a single duck. It is all work by everybody that's
and it's
there.
feast or famine.
Yeah. I've been in the hole beside the group that y'all are with me and one buddy and 2 cut downs, and just watching a show and knowing that, all these guys put it together and it's just me and one more guy, and we don't stand a chance between a really good group of guys that all know how to work ducks, blowing calls in the woods.
Yep.
You can't compete with that. And Andy, you can probably tell a million stories about being on the good side of that, where you're calling ducks.
There's a lot more of the bad side.
You also the stories about being on the other side, where there was the group that was just better. As much as you're competing against the ducks, it's almost a competition against. I mean, you don't want to say duck hunting's a competition, because we'd like to see everybody kill ducks. But once you step inside that levee in the public woods, it's a different world.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, definitely. If you can find yourself in a spot where you don't have somebody within 400 yards of you, you're going and you're under ducks, you're gonna kill ducks, as long as you can run right. But we had a day this weekend that we had 7 groups within 200, 250 yards of us. It was tough. We still killed some ducks, but it's all about battling. You're not only battling the ducks, but you're battling the people, and you get that one group coming in, break the treetops. Somebody shoots, and well, there went all that work. So there's a lot of things you have to take into consideration, and kind of prepare. Well, not really prepare for, but work for. Yep.
So me and Stacy did not hunt public woods this weekend. Far from the public.
I think we had just as much work in though.
Andy,
God,
I don't think Andy's had to shovel mud and pipes to keep him holding water in the last couple
man,
weeks.
for us, where we hunt, it's just been a lot of work this year. With the new farm and the old farm, and trying to put all that together, and learning more about on the new farm.
It's been a learning curve, and
from duck blinds to, my goodness gracious, I'm gonna be totally honest in this. had Wes not called me and said, "Hey, I'll drive," I don't know how I was going to get there because I was so tired of driving to Arkansas this year so far. I had contemplating flying to Memphis and y'all come picking me up. I'm telling you, that 22 route, I'm telling you, I am so tired of looking at that right now. But I am refreshed and re-energized after shooting some birds over there.
And so there'll be probably some videos of, I'll just say our farm, and kind of what we're working on with where we stay over there and everything. But everything isn't where we want it yet. But it was nice to just go sit in a blind, sit in a pit, and just get to do what you've been working towards.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't understand the amount of work it took to get there. Andy went over there to help too, a couple weekends, and then I was there before that a couple weekends, and then after that, I mean, you're talking about at least 6 weeks to get to hunt opener.
Yeah.
And then when we're there, I already know, we have a small group of guys we hunt with. When it's time to hunt, they want to hunt and trying to get as much done as possible. But in the years prior to this year, that's where a lot of the enjoyment I get is the challenge of learning the land, and fixing it up to be successful. Hunting it the right way. We have that figured out.
Yeah.
As far as how many blinds are we hunting, where, and on what time of the year, and weather, what field, what areas are doing better. So we've learned a lot of that, but I don't know. I think it was a really good. I want to say it was a very successful 2 days of hunting. We only hunted 2 mornings, and thinking back on the drive home, that's probably the best 2 opening mornings I've had in a very long time.
I don't know that I've had an opener that good. It's we kill birds, couple mallards, gadwall, teal. We didn't get any speckle bellies to work. They were not really wanting to play, and that really hurt my heart a little bit. I kind of had my mind set on killing a couple specks, but the birds that we called out that were quote unquote workable, man, they all worked.
Yeah.
They done it right. We didn't shoot. We're not having to shoot them at 60 yards man, everything we shot. I heard multiple times, you and Mickey, y'all will get to meet Mickey on the podcast here and there. Mickey's probably got some stories for Stacy too. Mickey's been around for years. I heard multiple times, that one was too close. I can't hit them that close.
Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I just quit shooting at teal. I mean, at 10 yards, it's just. But you know what? The enjoyment I got out of that? Watching y'all miss. And 2.
Hang on, wait. I shot better than I shot all year last year. Don't give me that.
The other enjoyment I got out of it, having those birds that close and they didn't see us.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we worked very hard on getting that done. And so that was a lot of enjoyment there. But yeah, I mean, I think those 2 mornings, the first morning was kind of slow. We knew what we sent the other group to be very successful. We set them up and that happened. And then, as far as those birds were in that one field,
man, they were there.
And so we sent them there with a blind that was already brushed up. So, but I'm just so glad to see them have a good time, and they said that was the best opener they've had. And so, I get a lot of enjoyment out of seeing other people's success, and we got to shoot birds too.
Yeah.
So it wasn't any skin off my back. And so we worked birds that day. I actually saw Kendall break a high mallard on the first 2 or 3 licks. And so his calling has gotten a lot better. I mean, he's really, got to the point where he can break those birds and working them, and got to see that. I enjoyed that, and helping you finish that bird off, and shooting them close. That was a good time, man.
So as much enjoyment as you got out of seeing me progressing the call and that bird breaking, and I tried not to look excited. I'm sure my face showed like I was so excited that bird broke. It wasn't calling birds; it was already working. Like the bird had no intentions of coming. I got as much enjoyment out of seeing your dog that I enjoy dogs, guys. I love working dogs. Yeah. I got as much enjoyment out of getting to see you have success with your dog running 250, 300 yard blind on a mallard and it was a mallard at that. Like getting to see you finally get to see what all the work in the dog, in the end.
It's been a lot of work.
So I enjoyed seeing that and your success with the dog as much as you may have enjoyed seeing my success with the car.
I never thought about that, Kendall. But yeah, you know, I want to say that was his best retrieve of his career so far, being 3 years old. I think he surprised us all.
So when it went down, I think I remember asking you. I was like, "You want me to see Felicia go pick it up?" He's like, "Let me just try it." I was like, "That's great." Like, my dog's 9. She's picked up plenty of birds.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoyed hunting 2 dogs together.
That was
They
fun.
done great.
Yeah, he did great.
And I was like, "Yeah, sure." Man, you got him to it. He got downwind. Man, he jumped on a birds. You know, it was winged. It wasn't, you know, just a dead shot. Of course, if it's 300 yards, and man, he chased it down, tackles it, just does his job perfectly.
The whole way, yeah.
You know, you didn't have to fight him to get him there. He done well. I was standing up on the bench in the pit, and I think Wes was standing beside me. You know, Mickey was standing. No, Wes may have got out. Mickey was standing there. I was like, man, that's bad stuff right there. Like
he ain't gonna say what he really said.
Yes, but I was like, man, that's as cool as it gets to me.
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy. I like to call. Not as good as a lot of guys, but watching the dogs pick them up is probably, as much as you like to see birds break and work, I like to see the dogs pick them up.
Yeah. That was the first time. I'll be honest with you. We've always just carried one dog, because I don't know why. Be honest with you, I have no idea why.
Yeah.
But that was the first time. You know, this weekend we hunted 2 dogs at one time. I was very skeptical about it from the beginning. I think you had more confidence in it than I did.
He was like, which dog you want to take? I was like, we're taking both of them. With all of our pits.
Yeah, he didn't ask me. He said, we're taking both of them. I was like,
well, I know.
Okay, cool.
Well, I know if I give you the option, you're going to be like, man, you know what? I'll just take yours. I'll take Gunner Lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you wasn't getting that option of.
No, he said, we're taking both of them. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. And that was, that was fun. That was different. And so, but no, great opener. Couldn't ask for better, to be honest, unless it was just all greenheads, you know. But they're not here yet, you know, not where we were for the conditions, but they're on the way. We will have those days in the future. But yeah, no, it was good, man.
Good deal. Well, guys, everybody be safe during the rest of the hunting season out there. So,
well, I got a question. I got a question for you, host. Right. So, as far as the podcast, what I guess in the future, what are we looking at? Where can we find this?
We're gonna be on Spotify. We're going to be on YouTube. We're gonna do our best to get you on Apple. That way, for everybody like myself that uses iPhones, you can do it there. But you can always still download the Spotify app, listen to it there. Right now, we're gonna shoot for 2 a month. We're gonna try to get some more. Get that, you know, maybe 1 a week or something like that down the road. We're getting it started. We're gonna shoot for 2 a month. We're going to try to do some mobile stuff, get you some what we're going to call live at the lodge at the Allegiant.
Those are going to be very interesting.
They're probably not going to be so informative or anything. It's just going to be kind of loose, so you can see kind of how our life during the weekend or during the week duck hunting is with the Allegiant guys. You know, kind of just what life is at our lodge and talk about the day and who's there. We have some characters that we hunt with, guys, that y'all will get to meet this year that are, it's going to be fun. So stay tuned.
Okay.
Like I said, the schedule's not going to be just set dead up. Like every Monday at 12 o'clock, you're going to have one. But stay tuned.
I think what we'll do is probably post it on our social media pages. There's a new one up. You also have in the future where I know that we'll have a link on our website so that you can watch and listen to the podcast. I know this first one is probably a little mundane, just getting to know the guys behind the podcast. We will have guests on our podcast.
That's right.
You know, especially from our sponsors, Dakota Decoys, Micro Ammunitions, Gator Waders, Bush Rack. I'd love to have those guys on, ask them questions about their products. And we're also going to talk about these products in the future. And how we use them, what we like about them. I think Kendall has a whole lot of stuff coming in the future. He has it all not written down, but in his head.
There's a lot of things in my head that
he has asked me a lot of questions about this. I know that there's some things that you mentioned and that I'd like to see on there. But we're going to do that, and how you can access it through our website. I know that we're going to, in the future, we're going to talk about some of our products or, Allegiant Call products.
We'll go through, guys. We'll probably get in. I'll let Stacy get in depth, and I'm going to ask questions because I didn't design these calls.
Yeah.
So I'll ask the questions that you guys are going to want to know because there's a lot of things he's probably not going to tell because he designed it and it seems normal to him that you would know that we probably don't know. So if you throughout, we'll get into each call and kind of what he designed that call for, why he designed that call, and they'll be labeled. So if, let's just say if you bought an MP9 at a show and man, you're just kind of listening to our podcast here and there, it'll be labeled in the title like the MP9. And you can listen to that one and go, man, I really want to know. This is the call I kill ducks with. Yeah. I want to know everything about that call.
That's right. And that's what I want the customers to know because everyone can't come out to these shows and see us and meet us. And this just gives us an opportunity to talk to those customers that we can't meet in person and give them the information in an easier way that they can hear it. And obviously if they have any questions, I get hung up on answering all the questions on Instagram and the messages on Facebook and Instagram. It really keeps me up late. And one thing I learned is 5 o'clock everybody gets off work. And I'm going to tell you right now, I get a million questions at 5, but I try to answer absolutely every one of them.
I'm impressed that everybody isn't doing it at work. That isn't like...
No, they actually wait.
they actually
yes,
work?
Sir.
People actually work
Well, they
now?
actually wait till the afternoon and to message. And so I do my best. If it's late, I try to respond the next day. So I say all that to say if you have any questions, obviously reach out to us and follow us, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok as well. We have some instructional videos on TikTok.
And guys, stay tuned. I think we're going to try to do a little bit more on TikTok and also Allegiant Calls on YouTube. That's probably
That's just a side that we haven't spent a lot of time on yet. But obviously now doing the podcast along with videos and such like that we're going to be we have YouTube shorts and such. But I think that there's some opportunities for us to kind of share more about Allegiant Calls and more about the fellowship with Allegiant Calls and more about the brotherhood, because that's what it is, is a brotherhood for us. And so that's what we want to share. It's not all about the killing. That's not what we want to do. Just want to show kind of how we hunt, things that we do different that might be different to someone else, but also just the fellowship, the brotherhood that we have, I think is the absolute best part of what we do.
Absolutely.
We have the World Championship coming up this weekend, and I have been just a nervous wreck over the last week.
So as much as I'm happy to see Stacy make the Worlds, get to call in Stuttgart, there's probably a piece of me that's ready for it to be over so he can calm down a little bit too and enjoy life again. Stay tuned, guys, with that. And I'm sure we'll have a story on, how the Worlds went, just a snippet of that.
Yeah, we're hoping for the best there. I've been very fortunate to qualify, 7 or 8 times over these years. And I feel right now a little bit of pressure because it is a stacked contest this year. I think we have 7 former world champions in it, and so and several people that's always finished in the top 10. And I guess it's a personal goal for me to succeed there. I've been really close, tied 12th I think twice, and so I have some goals there. And I feel like right now I am running a call as good as I have ever, and so I feel a little bit of pressure, not pressure, but a little anxiety to just let me do this now. I am ready to get up there and knock this out. Now, whatever comes out of that call, Andy, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna try to blow the insert out of that sucker and see how it shakes out. But I don't get worked up over it, but I get so excited about it, and it's just because I'm so passionate about calling and seeing all my friends and making it there, and it's just it's a day we set aside for duck calling.
For anybody that hasn't been, if you're around the Stuttgart area, it's Saturday. Man, go see Wings Over the Prairie. Man, go watch the Worlds. Man, what's just fun to me to watch is, man, there's some 14 to 15-year-old kids, guys, that can blow duck calls.
Oh, absolutely.
Man, watch the kids. Watch the women's contest.
Yeah. Man, and they got the World Cut Down the night before on Friday
night. Jumbos at 11.
So go watch it, guys. Just kind of see this it's I told somebody, I said, this is what happens when you give rednecks good jobs and they make money. That is kind of what Wings Over the Prairie, that's the feel, like me being one of them, like not hating on anybody, but this is what happens when rednecks get money. Is we go close the street down and blow duck calls.
I guess so.
And we love every minute
and
of
we
it.
drive from states away to attend this event.
We'll drive 6 or 7 hours just to, so.
Or longer.
Yeah, or longer.
It's a brotherhood, man, I'm telling you.
It is. So, well, guys, that's where we're at today. Everybody be safe this week. Stay tuned for what we got coming from Allegiant Calls, and we'll see you guys next time.